Most important thing too is we don't understand how money works. Anyone can live in average. Everyone can live in mediocrity, right? Then there's those outliers. If your money is just sitting in cash, realistically, you're becoming poorer every day. Wealthy people do three things, man. They stop trading time for money. They make their money work for them. And they give as much value to people as they can. You know, I took my time, I researched the Warren Buffetts and the Peter Lynch's, and I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, that shit was like Chinese to me, right? This is a foreign language. And so what happened to me was it started reminding me of being in the streets. Everything about it. What happens is, and just let me say this right quick, the reason why people think wealthy people or people with money are sinister is because that's what you kind of taught in the hood. Like you kind of taught like the people who really have money, like they did some wicked shit to get it. They did some backstabbing, cutthroat shit to get it, and you'll never get that, right? And so that same mentality now happens on a lower level, right? The hustling, the dope dealing. So now you think like, yo, I gotta just do sinister shit to get money. And then the people who are successful in the drug game, they're looking at the people at the top like, damn, I wanna be that. But the people at the bottom will never get a taste of that. And so now we just kind of living off ambition. And so now the people who are in the middle who working, they're like, oh, them people with money, they all crooks. They all, because being at the bottom teaches you to envy people at the top.
I remember, so when I was working in the inner cities, I remember having this moment where I was like, wait a second, this is not an intelligence problem. Intelligence is evenly distributed. Like I remember saying to my wife, the next Elon Musk is going to be found somewhere in Compton. The problem is he doesn't believe in himself. And so he's not going to do anything. And so I became obsessed with this idea that generational poverty is not about money, it's about mindset. You can be successful. Why do you not think you can be successful? Because if you think you can't be successful, that will govern the way that you move. It breaks along economic lines. So if people are not encouraging you to read, you're not going to read. It's hard in the beginning. It feels like you're learning Chinese. Right, and so now what happens with that is that mindset gets impregnated in the next generation for fear of survival. Right, like, yo, don't try to become this as a collective because they're gonna bomb this, and I don't want to see you dead, so we'll low-level think. Now that is intentional. What happens is now, no one now believes that it's possible. Once you keep passing that down, you start accepting the lower level. And then there's a few of us or a few people who said, no, I'm an outlier, yo, like, I'm about to go for it. And then whatever happens, I'm with that. And so now that becomes discouraging. You never get a chance to play offense. You're always on defense. One, because of mindset, because you don't see it. Everybody who's working is struggling. And so you never want to be that. You never want to be that. You're like, damn, like, why is everybody struggling? I need to do something different. And so the sacrifice now becomes hard because now you're saying, I gotta work, and never get that reprieve. I'm not willing to do that. Right? And so that's the mindset comes in and say, everybody around me had the same problem. No one represented the solution. So if I don't change something, I'm only going to end up like everybody else I know. Somebody has the solution somewhere. There's too many people out here living the life of their dreams that I'm watching. They know something I don't know. And the only thing that they had was access to a different type of information. So once I went and got the information, I now wanted to sing from the mountaintop, like, yo, look at this dope thing I found. Everybody can be a part of it. And then when I showed it to people, they was like, that ain't it, bro. I'm not about to do that. Yeah, this to me, so this is a really important idea. This is what I talk about with business and mindset. I always tell people you have to understand how the game works. And I've heard you say this, and I think this is really smart. There's a difference between the basics and the fundamentals.
Yes.
You understand a game that a lot of people that are disenfranchised understand.
And so I realized how powerful it was for me to, one, become economically like powerful in my mind. Because the thing about investing, and so that's important for me, the understanding the basics and the fundamentals. Like once you start understanding the fundamentals, you give yourself power because you now understand, like you said, you see how the machine works. and let the bank make all the money, because all they're gonna do is invest the money for you. So they now operating as the plug. They operate now as the man who, I'm gonna front you this, I'm gonna make my money, I'm gonna take the cut, I'm gonna give you just enough to keep coming back. I'm gonna go to the plug. Who is the plug? The stock market, right? And so once I understood the fundamentals of like, the most important thing too, is we don't understand how money works. So I said the key to building wealth is not how much you can work. You can't work your way to wealth. You gotta invest your way to. And all wealthy people, black, white, Asian, Chinese, they own a whole bunch of it. The people who aren't wealthy is because they don't own nothing. You only have your money sitting in cash. If your money is just sitting in cash, realistically, you're becoming poorer every day.
Right. Or they own depreciating assets.
And that's what cash is. It's a depreciating asset, because the more money they print, the more money that money loses value. So if it's just sitting, it's the reason why the bank wants you to have your money there. So they can take it and use it and invest it so much and be like, hey, it's just sitting, I'm gonna give you 50 cents on whatever you had in there. Right? So banks only give us 0.05% interest on the money we have there. But we can get 8% just by putting our money in the asset. And that's what cash is. And so the idea of ownership was, look, we can just start owning everything that we, no matter if it's just a stock. Like, that's powerful, because if you can start owning the businesses that you now consume every day, you turn a one-time transaction to a lifetime of profit. So that one-time transaction can become a lifetime of profit if I own that business. I understand that knowledge is what gives us leverage in life. It's not about how strong you are. It's about what you can learn, and then how can you actively apply that. I have this acronym called FEAR, finally exiting average reality, right? And what happens is, until we can overcome the fear, some people actually fear success. Success comes with a lot, right? But until you can overcome that average reality that you're living in, no matter what you're on, once you become comfortable there, it becomes average. Anyone can live in average. Everyone can live in mediocrity, right? Then there's those outliers who consistently push themselves to go to the next level. Concentration that you can lock into, that can take you there. As long as you believe in it. Like you said, the only belief that matters is, what do you believe you can do? I personally believe that there is nothing I cannot do. The word possible is so powerful. Possible changes the game. Instead of it being impossible, we now say I am possible, or I'm possible. That changes the dynamic. So the first mindset is saying, invest in your first stock. It may not be the best investment in the world, but you started, right? And the great thing about anything is, you can't be great if you never go to practice. You can't hit 81 if you never get in the gym. So just get in the gym, and then find somebody who can teach you. Be dedicated to understand the process. They're trying to learn. Their learning has to go to the next level. So if learning is the catalyst to everybody who's wealthy and successful, I can never be sufficient with what I know. And I think that has to happen too. We have to understand the power in learning and being educated. Yeah. Wealthy people do three things, man. They stop trading time for money. They make their money work for them. To people as they can. And so I learned that as I got older. That part really didn't make sense to me at the time, but the money working for you part, and I was like, how do you make your money work for you? Again, all I know is how to go get money. That's all I know. As wealthy people, first they get into stocks, then they start a business, and then they get real estate.